Al Zobel, I want to thank you for taking a group of inexperienced know-it-alls and showing us that we did not know it all. You taught us a lot, and I think the most important thing that you taught me was to pick my battles. I use that every day, not only in work, but in my personal life as well. You said that life's too short to get mad about everything, and you were right, and I thank you for that. You will always hold a very special place in my heart, and thank you for helping me to become the person I am today.
Hey Al, how you doing? Just wanted to take a minute to chat about my experiences and my time with you very briefly, only a couple years there. I just want to say, thanks for taking a young guy, very young at the time actually, bringing him as a photojournalist. I got to learn so much at 27. I got to grow so much at 27 that I eventually had to come down, sit in your office and say, hey, moving on, kind of going a different direction to discover. And now I'm in Milwaukee. So it all turned out great. Thanks to you, I had a time where I wasn't the best of shooters, not Emmy nominated. So it was great that you kind of brought me in and also very, very patient with me to, let me grow as a photographer. So thank you so much for that. And also before I left, I may have taken one of these. These things shouldn't be that expensive. I also may have taken one of these as well. And one of these guys. This is from a failed TV show. I wonder if the website's still up for this. I should check on that. Thank you so much for the opportunities that you've given me over the years. And you've been a great mentor and friend.
I just wanted to take a quick second to say hello and thank you for everything that you've done for me. First, you brought me to Madison and you gave me an incredible opportunity to not only make great news product, but to meet some wonderful people as well. You've always given me somebody to look up to as a news person. Your integrity and your care for the product that we put out was, rivaled by none that I've met in the news business, in my short time. And for giving me that kind of role model to look up to and someone to make proud really meant the world to me. And I just wanted to let you know that your impact on my life will be lasting, and I will always hold you in a special place in my heart, and I really appreciate everything you've done for me. Thank you.
Hey Al, this is Carl Agnelli. Maybe a few other people have mentioned this, but I was thinking that it's because of you that I'm living here in Madison, Wisconsin today. You kind of took that chance on me way back then. That was 2004. My God, it's a long time ago. But you let me be on air, be a reporter, and then you kind of encouraged me multiple times to do the weekend anchor thing. And so even though I haven't been in TV now for 3 years, I still have all the strangers coming up to me and asking me, hey, what's on the news? You're the TV guy, right? It's because of you. And you kind of took that chance on me again. You kind of coached me along the way. You also just gave me a really good, healthy sense of skepticism. I used to just take whatever people said at face value all the time, whether they were with a company, whether they were just an acquaintance, the elected official. I don't do that anymore, and I think it's really because of you and what you kind of trained us to. I kind of took that out of just the role of journalism, just applied it to life as well. And it's also because of you I like to share a funny story, too. People always make fun of my wallet. They kind of call it that George Costanza Seinfeld wallet because it's really big. And they tell me all the time, Carl, you probably don't use half the things that are in here. And I say, well, that may be true, but a lot of what's in here is a memento. And I always tell them this story about, I used to work for a guy who in his wallet has an old driver's license of him that probably is now 30 plus years old. And he's still busted out. It's not functional, doesn't do anything anymore. But it's a good conversation piece and it makes a good memory. So I don't feel so bad that I'm walking around with this in my pocket every single day. So again, that's a story from you that I still share.
One of the funniest memories I have of you, Al, actually has to do with my hair. Now, this was really early on when you first came to the station, and I had run into you in the newsroom. You probably don't remember this at all, but you had asked if I were growing my hair out. It used to be much shorter than even it is now. And little do you know, but I had a hair appointment the very next day. So I was pretty quiet and said, well, and you said, well, I like it. Let's keep it longer. You were also the one to get me to have highlights in my hair, which I had never had before. Now, after I went back to my desk and canceled that hair appointment, I remember thinking, who is this guy giving me advice on my hair? Of course, you turned out to be right, and just so you know, I do have a hair appointment here in a couple of days.
Hey Al, it's Sean, your favorite one-man band from Gonzaga University. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for all that you've done for me, not only in my career but life. And the number of times you sat me down in your office and in a very kind way, basically said, "Dude, you better figure your shit out," is still with me. It still affects me. And I probably wouldn't have gotten married to my wife when I did if it weren't for you kind of giving me a little extra kick in the pants, saying, "You know what? When I got married, I had $2,000 in a van, so you can do it too." The way that you handled things like my makeup incident when I was putting makeup on live on TV, and your approach was, "You know what? I'm not going to call the station. This is just too good." Thank you for that. I think the YouTube has like 3,000 views or something. But finally, your passion for news, your passion for doing what's right, your passion for just holding people accountable, and that watchdog function is going to forever stay with me. And it's too bad that there aren't more journalists out there like you. And I'm just so proud to have worked with you, and want you to know that your influence is extending on. Here I am at Fashion Week doing journalism stuff from a very different perspective, but a lot of what I'm doing I took from you. So Al, thank you. Love you. We miss you, and I hope to see you soon.
Hey Al, wish I'd come visit you and bring you some Iron City, but that crap is so toxic. They're not going to allow it to cross state lines. I want to thank you for believing in me and allowing me the opportunity to excel. You were the type of boss that was loyal and someone I knew I could turn to as my career moved forward away from WKOW. I always think of you when I hear the word kudos, and I know I'm not alone in there. Many bosses will have seen their producer show up at the Fallen Angel with those big black boots and mini skirt and would have scolded them for their unprofessional attire. And then you just laughed and, just allowed me to be myself, and that's awesome. That's really cool. Some of the best times I had in TV news was working with you and Jordan. In fact, that election night when I locked you out of the server room. Yeah, that wasn't so fun. But you'll have those nights working in news, and the next day, it was really forgotten. I hope that you're staying warm up in Wisconsin, and just let me know that I'm thinking of you. Love you, Al. Bye.
So Al, a little over 6 years ago, you hired me and gave me and Shannon a chance to move back to Madison, which was something we were really looking forward to being able to do. So I can't express how much I appreciate being given that chance to prove myself and come back to a place that we love. Of course, I still think about you every time I brew a batch of beer, and I'm wondering if you're brewing. I'm wondering if my batch will be good enough for you, if you would like it. But in all seriousness, I really appreciated everything you brought to our newsroom, to the leadership. I had a lot of respect for your decision-making, and I don't know if in my lifetime I'll work for someone like you again, someone who's willing to teach and guide and take people under their wing like that. It certainly hasn't happened since, and I know that if I ever get the chance to be in that kind of position, I intend to emulate myself after you and be able to guide people and teach them and make them better than where they started with. So thank you for everything you've taught me. I appreciate it a lot.
Hey Al, it's Lovicott. Kind of a different video setting here right now, but I'll always remember you challenging me to be more creative in my storytelling and in my reporting, and being creative using video and live shots. So I thought, well, how appropriate, because I wanted to share one of my most favorite stories involving you, and it has to do with driving, ironically. So there you go. Here's my setting. But first off, I just want to let you know and make sure you know how much I respect you and how much I appreciate you in all you did to help shape me both professionally and personally. you were an incredible boss. You're a great guy, and I learned so much from you in better writing, in better storytelling, in my reporting and anchoring. So I really want to thank you for that. And because of you, through most of my former colleagues at KOW, I'm now known as Third Block Lovicott. So thank you for that. But one of the things I'll remember about our working relationship is that we had a great one, first off. I always enjoyed working with you, but we did some really great stories as well. And one of the big ones I did, I'm sure you'll remember, is the Madison Metro investigation with workman's comp. And the driving bit, why I'm driving here, is because literally, and I believe I shared this with you, for like a month after that story, I swore buses were following me home. And of course, I'm sure they weren't. But in my mind, I had made this decision that they are following me home, and I'm waking up in the middle of the night. I smell exhaust. They're waiting outside my windows. And in any case, every time I see a Metro bus, I chuckle because I think of you in that story we did, and I remember the fact that I, at least a few times, thought I was being followed. So, again, thank you, Al, for our relationship at 27 and post 27. It was really some of the best years of my life, and I thank you for that and all you did to help not only me personally and professionally, but all of my colleagues who I still consider great friends. One colleague of which nicknamed me HTH, Hometown Hero, and I remember you calling me that many times as well. So it was a great time, Al, and I just want to let you know how much I appreciate all you've done and the hard work that you put in to work with us. You're a great guy, Al.
I just wanted to say thank you for all of the support and all of the guidance you have given me. We've met at coffee shops and talked a lot about life and where it might go. And I didn't want you to think ever that went unnoticed. You are a very strong, important person. And you really helped me out in a lot of times, especially, letting me go out and actually just get a voice out with a photographer when I was at WKOW, and just sitting and talking with me. So I just wanted to let you know that you are in my thoughts, in my prayers, and thinking of you and your family. God bless.
Hey Al, just wanted to take a minute or so to say hello and wish you the best. It's kind of hard for me to put into words the amount of respect that I have for you. So thrilled that I had the chance to work with you and call you my boss and call you my friend. I remember, though, when you first started at Channel 27, I used to think for the longest time that maybe you just didn't like me very much. Every time I'd hand in a script for you to read, you'd send it back with all kinds of marks and things that I needed to change. But over time, I grew to realize that it wasn't that you didn't like me or that I was a bad writer. It was just that you were trying to make me better. So for that, I appreciate it. I used to always be just a little bit intimidated by you. And now I look back and I think, man, why was I so intimidated by him? But I do know that because I was just a little bit intimidated, I worked harder and I always wanted to please you. And I know that made me overall better at my job. So thank you for that. One thing in particular, when I think about you, that I just absolutely love is after I had kids, or when I first told you that I was pregnant, I loved sitting in your office and listening to you talk about your family and how special they all are to you. And I always loved your parenting advice. I still try to take some of it to heart with my little boys. So, so I definitely appreciate that. You're a great guy, and I am very, very lucky to call you my boss and to call you my friend.
Hey Al, how's it going? It's Jacob Portnoy here. I've got two things for you. My first thing, kind of my favorite memory from my 2 years or so in Madison. That was the first time that I yelled at Tony Galley. So I remember this, it was pretty early on, a couple months in, and he, as usual, had made my life so difficult for the six, and after the show, I was over at his desk, kind of going at it with him, and you had kind of wandered on over to see what's going on. And after Tony and I were kind of finished hashing it out, you called me to your office, and I figured I was going to get yelled at for yelling at him. was the total opposite. You talked about how happy you were that I was going to start finally getting into the mix and kind of giving it back to Tony as much as he was giving it to me. So probably the only time in my career that I get kudos for yelling at someone in front of my boss. The other thing I just want to mention was I wanted to say thanks for not accepting my resignation the first time I tried to quit my job at KOW. So it was a few months in, and I wasn't really loving Madison. The job wasn't exactly I could sort of tell that news wasn't going to be my long-term career, and I was thinking about just cut my losses and quitting. I think it was like 2 months in. And I remember the night before I told Erin, I think I'm going to go quit tomorrow. And she was, gave me that concerned look, but just sort of told me to do what you think is best. So I remember I walked into your office like 8:30 the next morning, and I tried to quit. And you basically you told me no, and you talked me out of it and told me that I would get through it. And I guess eventually I did. So I think by the end of my time at KW, I was putting up pretty good shows, and I think it was just really good for me to realize that I could do that, and I could get through that rough, bumpy first few months. So, anyways, thanks for not accepting my resignation the first time. I'm very, very glad I got the chance to spend a couple years in your newsroom and get to know you. And thanks for believing me. Thanks for believing me. All right, talk to you later, Al.
Hey Al, it's Jackie. Just wanted to say thanks for being an amazing boss and an amazing friend. Thanks for starting by taking me in as an intern and giving me my dream job of working at WKOW. I learned so much from you. Those are some of the best memories I've had of that newsroom. You were truly the heart of the newsroom and taught me more than I can even share. So thanks for all the wonderful memories. You're more than just a boss or coworker, but a dear friend. From picking cherries from your tree to just hanging out with Dave and I, and of course eating the cupcakes. So just want to tell you how much that we love you, and thanks for everything.
Hey Al, I think I'm the only non-news person on this video, but I wanted to get on here and say hi. Wendy used to tell me stories about how you would check in with her every once in a while to make sure I was still treating her well and not causing her too many problems or anything. And she had said that you had volunteered to give me a talking to if I was ever not treating her as well as she deserved. So I just wanted to say that I've always appreciated you looking after her, and I'm very glad that we never actually had to have one of those talks. You're a good guy. We will talk to you soon.
One of the smartest things I've ever done in my career was to set up a mock interview with a local TV news director my senior year of college, and then hound that news director until he decided to give me a weekend producer job. And I will always be forever grateful that you finally caved in and said yes. In the 4 years that we worked together and in all the years since, I have learned so much from you. How to be a good writer, how to be a good journalist, how to craft a tease, why I should cut my hair to look more professional, though I'm sorry to tell you I'm probably going to grow this out again sometime in my life, how to manage others without an iron fist and without slamming doors, though I think that's something that you were already working on teaching Ron for several years before I met you, so it wasn't a new lesson. And how to make a difference in the world and why it's so important to try to do that every day, one day at a time, one story at a time. And those are lessons that I'm going to take with me forever in work and in life. So thank you, Al.
Hey Al, it's Mitch. It's funny that I'm recording this on a day that it was just announced we're getting a new news director. And of course I think back to when you were first hired, and also to think back of the years we had in that 27 newsroom, and I felt like I was getting fired at least every other day. But you know what? I would definitely repeat those few years because they were definitely probably my favorite so far in the business. And there's not a week that goes by that I don't think about what would Al Zobel think of this story I'm being able to pitch, or after a big story that airs, it's like, wow, I wish the big man would come out of the office and tell me what he thinks about it. I definitely think about it all the time. Let me show you this. This is on my desk. It's been on my desk ever since I left Madison. I haven't used it that much since I left. You know, it's just one of the reminders of my favorite newsroom that I've worked in and the connections that I made. And of course, you made all the difference. And like I said, you've been my favorite news director, and even though we have a new news director coming on board, I know there's no way she'll be able to fill your shoes.
Hey Al, I'm sitting here in my basement looking at my guitars but not playing them. And here's Gio. He's just hanging out late with me tonight. He has an MRI in the morning. You're looking at me and not yourself, dude. Say hi. Say hi to Al. I'm actually, what's funny is that I'm sitting here in the basement with something that you'll probably laugh at, and it's this picture right here of Charlotte doing the MDA telethon. You hired her a little bit after that, actually. I think maybe 7 months after that. And then, if you remember this was in Wilkes-Barre. Look at how young we are. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Anyways, just wanted to send you a video saying, thanks for everything. Like I said the last time to you, I'm lucky that you continued to hire me after all the problems that I caused you. And every day I hear something that reminds me of you. Like just the other day, my new boss, Joe, said something about moving people's cheese. And I started laughing because I remembered that you wanted me to read the book, Someone Moved My Cheese, or Who Moved My Cheese, and I still haven't read it. So apparently I should right now. But just want to say hello. Gio, say goodbye, dude. All right, Al. I'll talk to you later.
Hi, Al. The last time I recorded myself on video was for one of my world-famous webcasts. It's been quite some time, and I can't quite get a good camera angle. I hope this looks better on your end than it does on mine. It's just like looking at that camera right above my desk. And I remember after doing it at the beginning, someone said to me, who didn't know me or you, but was in the business, was like, whoever thought of that idea is a genius. And you were a genius. You are a genius. Mostly for believing in me, of course. No, just kidding. Thank you so much for everything that you taught me and for always believing in me. And thank you for all the good times. There were so many moments where we laughed so hard and you made the seriousness of what we did so bearable with your humor and your jokes. And I really do miss seeing you every day. And I hope that you are well and that I get to see you again very soon. And I just want you to know that you have left a mark on this world that cancer will never take away. You take care, and I'll see you soon. Let's go kick 'em.